Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are our topics for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so make sure you stay with us. So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Utsuya-san, what's our topic today?
Yes, today we'll be hearing from a Japanese entertainment company, Horipuro.
Well, I know that it's a major entertainment production agency that manages not just TV personalities, but also cultural figures and news presenters.
Yes, that's the company we're talking about. Now, it was originally set up as a music production company in 1960, and they currently manage 297 people and generate about $200 million annually.
So the management of artists and personalities seems like quite a big business.
It certainly is, and success in this industry is determined by how well a company is able to monetize its assets, in this case the people it manages. And Horipuro has a range of businesses centered on talent management, such as commercial and television program production, theatre and musical production, and also character and mascot creation.
That's quite a vast business.
It is, isn't it? And what's more, this year they acquired a stake in Tatsunoko Production, which is a major Japanese anime production company.
They're behind the Time Bokan series and the Genie Family anime, so I believe they have been aired overseas as well. And why is Horipuro getting into the animation business?
Well, similar to other industries in Japan, the entertainment market is also facing the problem of an aging and shrinking population, and the company realizes it has to reach out to develop new markets.
So by that, do you mean internationally?
Yes, that's what they're thinking of, and they hope to drive growth and become more competitive by aggressively promoting Japanese content and artists overseas.
I see. Well, anime is probably the most well-known Japanese content globally.
Yes. Now, in movies, Japanese productions haven't been able to gain the clout of Hollywood, and also in television dramas and music, South Korea has a big lead, especially in the Asian region. So there's a recognition of the need to seek out a new business model. And to find out how the company plans to better compete in the global arena, we went to speak with the president of Horipuro, Yoshitaka Hori. So take a look.
Executive Insight. October 2013, Singapore. A show produced by an entertainment company from Japan was staged in this city. Musashi. Held for 2 days, it drew 4,000 people. The main character, a master swordsman, was played by popular Japanese actor Tatsuya Fujiwara. At around the same time, the Anime Festival Asia was being held across town, attracting 80,000 visitors. Performing at this event was Japanese singer Main. And in China, a young actor who has captured the hearts of thousands of fans in just months since his debut.
大家好。
Yuki Furukawa has 900,000 followers on the Chinese microblogging site Weibo. Japanese entertainers active on the global stage are few and far between. The company who manages many such actors and artists is Horipuro. What does it take to outlast rivals in the global entertainment world? We speak with the company president, Yoshitaka Hori.
How do you see the entertainment market in Japan now?
The internet has made it very convenient to access entertainment. So as a result, the music industry has seen sales of packaged music software fall to half from the peak, from about $8 billion to less than $4 billion. From the perspective of sales, the market has shrunk significantly. And then, considering that the population is also shrinking, it's said that it will fall from 127 million now to below 90 million by 2050. The labor force, consumers, consumption and population are all going to shrink. That's the market we're looking at. This isn't just limited to music.
In the United States and Europe, sales of music CDs have collapsed, while in Japan they have declined significantly over the past 10 years. What's more, games account for 95% of content exports from Japan. Meanwhile, South Korea has taken a wide lead in the international expansion of entertainment. With the Japanese market continuing to shrink, what does the local entertainment industry plan to do? Against these headwinds, HoriPro is aggressively expanding overseas. The company's Musashi production features a star actor, Tatsuya Fujiwara. The show was staged in London and New York in 2010. The Singapore production in 2013 attracted 4,000 people. A performance is also scheduled in South Korea this year. The company has been pushing ahead with other initiatives as well.
A singer named Main, known for her anime songs, has gone on an Asian tour every year since being invited to Singapore 6 years ago. She has also performed at the Japan Expo in France and an event in San Francisco, and is getting a lot of work from overseas.
The Anime Festival Asia is Southeast Asia's biggest event for Japanese culture, pulling in 80,000 visitors. There's one singer managed by HoriPro who performs here every year. Main, who has gained fans across Asia for her renditions of anime theme songs, referred to as Anisong. By fusing anime with her vocals, she has become widely recognized in the region and is getting a growing number of offers from overseas. This is part of the company's strategy.
For Japanese entertainment to become widely recognized, what strategies and tools are you focusing on?
The most important aspect is for the real thing to go out there. I've been to many places around the world and was asked by local people why J-pop artists hadn't come to their countries. K-pop artists will go to meet fans in other countries, even if only for a day. We in Japan tended to wait until we were invited. Whether you're a television personality or an artist, unless you actually go to those locations, learn about the country and people, you can't become big. In that sense, Anisong singers are different. They proactively go out and respect their fans, and won't hesitate to go if they're asked. I believe we need to continue developing markets by proactively going out to new markets, rather than waiting for an invitation.
There's one actor who follows Mr. Hori's advice. Yuki Furukawa, who is being promoted through an internet-based strategy. He boasts 900,000 followers on the Chinese microblogging website, Weibo.
He grew up in the United States, so speaks English fluently. A popular Japanese manga happened to be produced into a television drama in Taiwan and South Korea, and in Japan as well. The Japanese show aired on a cable network in the US around the same time. We actually weren't really thinking about that. But Chinese, South Korean, and Taiwanese students in the US were able to watch a real Japanese show at almost the same time as it was being aired in Japan for the first time. What happened was, people in mainland China, Taiwan, and South Korea started talking about Yuki Furukawa on the internet, commenting on how good-looking he was and how well he spoke English. So we decided to sign him up on Weibo, just to see what would happen, and his followers jumped from 100,000 to 200,000 to 300,000 and 900,000. Because of that, we thought, why not try going to those markets? We did a fan meeting in Shanghai, and it was crazy. That led to Fast Retailing asking him to open their new store in Shanghai. This all benefits Japan. That's the power of the internet.
Yuki Furukawa gained fame in China by proactively reaching out to fans through Weibo.
Yes.
1,200 fans came out to see him at the event in Shanghai. The experience of Yuki Furukawa is being seen as a model case for the entire industry's overseas promotion strategy.
It was all because we decided to go out as soon as there was demand. Even if there's no immediate return in terms of profitability, we decided to go out anyways. And when we did, we saw that there was actual demand. So we published a photo collection and that sold out right away. When there's even a little buzz, I believe it's absolutely necessary to have a system in place to send the artists out to the local market.
Anime, which gained fame in Japan and overseas years ago and remain popular today, include the Genie family of the Time Bokan series and Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. The company behind them is anime creator Tatsunoko Production. Hoping to strengthen and capitalize on content such as anime, HoriPro has teamed up with the company.
You're investing in Tatsunoko Production, so what is your aim?
One reason why we've started to go around the world is because of our anisong singers. The best tool right now to take Japanese entertainment overseas is animation. We didn't have an anime business until now. If we just wait until someone makes an anime, we won't be able to draw up a strategy. When we go to an anime festival abroad and say, we're executives of Tatsunoko Production, the response of clients is completely different. They say, we've seen Gatchaman, or the Genie family used to be broadcast in India. They ask me what I'm planning to do with the company. I hope to eventually produce an original anime, with Tatsunoko creating the characters. For the time being, though, we're still figuring out how to match the assets of Tatsunoko Production with our know-how of talent management and media.
As a market, will your focus be on Asia?
Going global tends to mean the US. But rather than targeting that market, we are focusing on the growing middle class. It's said that nearby countries that we can fly to from Japan for less than $100 on a low-cost carrier have the biggest growth potential. The cost for us is low, and we can get there the quickest. I believe it's about prioritizing Asia and expanding globally from this region.
How well will Japanese entertainment perform on the global stage? The company's first act has just begun.
Through its World Heritage educational programs, Panasonic is teaching children the importance of protecting the environment. supporting the conservation of World Heritage sites and providing environmental education, Panasonic is helping the next generation to achieve a sustainable lifestyle.
Panasonic.
Mitsui & Company.
For Earth, for life, Kubota.
One day has finished, and one new day has started on somewhere in the world. Kubota supports every moment somewhere out in the world. By the mechanization of agriculture, by the maintenance of water infrastructure, by the latest environmental engineering. We support a prosperous life for humans while protecting the environment of this beautiful Earth. Food, water, and the environment link the world. Kubota.
Trading card games transcend generations as well as borders. Trading card games will unite the world. However, the possibilities do not simply end there. Trading card games combine the different forms of entertainment, and fun will link the world as one. Bushiroad.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. Up next, we bring you an episode from World Business Satellite. So Utsuda-san, I understand we'll be talking about long-established companies.
Well, Arai-san, so for a company to be considered a long-established one, how old do you think it has to be?
Well, I would say more than 3 generations, so over 100 years.
That's a nice round number. Now, in terms of companies 100 years old or older, there are about 26,000 in Japan.
That's quite amazing. Well, staying in a business for a century or even several years for that matter in this economic environment seems like quite a feat.
It is, isn't it? Now, globally, Germany, the UK, Switzerland, France and the US are home to a large number of companies 100 years or older. And in terms of industries, many are breweries or hotels and apparel and construction-related companies.
So what aspect of long-established companies will we be focusing on?
Well, we'll be showing you a report on the challenges being taken on by heads of companies who inherited a family business. And they've taken the experiences of their youth during the bubble economy 20 years ago to further build their businesses. So take a look.
This November, a design and art event was held in Tokyo. Standing out among the numerous booths competing for attention with colorful and flashy designs was this one, displaying only black apparel.
The original color was this, and it was dyed this color.
They are actually white medical scrubs, color-dyed. What is this?
They're all originally used clothes. This is a project to breathe new life into old clothes that have yellowed or become stained by dyeing them black.
This is a project run by the Japan chapter of the International Conservation Organization, Worldwide Fund for Nature. Globally, Japan lags behind in the recycling of old clothes. So the group launched an initiative to dye them black and promote their reuse.
In terms of the black color, we've ensured the quality by teaming up with the top people in this area.
The search for high-quality black dyes leads us to a certain traditional technique born in Japan. Mibu, Kyoto. Toru Arakawa is the fourth-generation master of this dye house.
The dyeing of kimono with the family crest. We use only black. We don't touch anything else.
Kimono can be patterned, colored, or black. And dyers specialize in just one type. Since their establishment 100 years ago, they have focused on honing their techniques for black dyeing alone. From this, they've developed a one-of-a-kind method.
If you look closely, you'll see how different they are. This is the technique we've acquired. Our job is to master black dyeing.
On the right is a conventional black dye, and the left, their own deep black processing. This is what sets them apart from rivals. Sales peaked during the bubble economy period, but because of changing lifestyles, they've fallen to about a quarter. Mr. Arakawa struggled to keep his business afloat.
We experienced the bubble economy and were able to see many luxuries. There were more and more high-quality items, and I saw many good designs. That's how I trained my eye.
What Mr. Arakawa set up was an independent clothing brand that broke with the conventions of this established dye house. With kimono, they only handled silk. But by working with apparel, they were able to develop a technique to bring their deep black to other textiles. That caught the attention of a certain company, top brand Issey Miyake.
It's amazing. Side by side, the difference is so clear.
This dress, which lost its original color after 3 years of wear, was dyed using Kyoto Montsuki's method. Next February, Issey Miyake plans to begin experimentally re-dyeing black apparel that has become faded.
Many people care for and wear their clothes for a long time, so I thought it would be perfect for them.
I want to do something others can't do. Unless you change with the times, the company will stop moving. I want to continue it. I have to continue it.
The historical city of Kyoto is home to over 1,000 companies that are over a century old. Many of them are exploring ways to keep up with the times. But such businesses aren't limited to Kyoto. Nationwide, there are 26,000 so-called long-living companies. Japan's economic revival rests on their resurgence. Uji, Kyoto. Piled high are scallop shells.
these are 20 years old.
To remove salt and other impurities, they are dried for over 10 years. The shells are then ground into a fine powder. Left out in the sun to dry, they become a pigment called whiting. Whiting has been used since ancient times to paint traditional dolls and for various artwork. Selling this whiting is a 260-year-old company, Ueba Eso.
This is whiting. It's inside this box.
Sales of pigments peaked 23 years ago, but with the bursting of the economic bubble, prices of Japanese paintings plummeted, forcing artists to cut back on supply costs, with the market shrinking to a quarter. In 2005, Yumi Ishida quit her job at a trading house to take over a company run by her father, who had fallen ill.
Looking at our painting products and at the market, I couldn't see a future. I felt I had to open a different door.
So 3 years ago, Ms. Ishida proposed a new business, nail polish. The name? Gofun Nail. The biggest characteristic is the natural sheen made possible by the powdered scallop shells. A traditional Japanese product name for a traditional Japanese company. What's more,
it doesn't smell and rubs off with alcohol. It's amazing.
Regular nail polish is removed using a strong chemical solution, but their product rubs off with regular disinfecting alcohol. 3 years since being launched, it is now carried by about 200 shops. Online sales have also been brisk, with 30,000 bottles shipped every month. The product now accounts for over 60% of total revenue.
People who've branched out their family business experience the bubble economy. Because we know about the luxuries of that age, we don't see that as a distant memory. We're determined to bring that era back.
Traditional industries tested by the times. The generation that experienced the highs and lows of the bubble economy is on the hunt for the next big wave.
So using the shells as manicures, the idea was so new to me, it seemed so innovative.
It wasn't it? And the colours were so bright as well. But it just shows that tradition doesn't necessarily mean hanging on to old things and ideas. It actually means to be constantly innovating.
I agree. And I also feel innovation is a precondition for organizations that are thinking in timelines of centuries. And I understand our next topic is location information.
Yes, you're right. Now, we'll be looking at businesses that use location data recorded every time we use our smartphones, the internet, the trains and subways.
So is that personal information?
No, it isn't, fortunately. But we're talking about mass data, such as how many people are in what location at a given time. But still, many companies are treading cautiously in a view of public opinion as they move forward with their plans. So take a look.
Unlike in a police investigation, location data is being sold to regular companies and can be used to track you. It's very worrying.
I don't think it's a very good thing to do. The data is freely passed out. This is our actual live data.
Being shown by SoftBank President Masayoshi Son are the locations of people using a certain smartphone application. It is based on location data collected by telecom operators and railway companies. There are now moves to sell this information to businesses. Yasuyuki Saito of Microsoft Japan is in charge of sales for a new service that began in November. He visits a beauty spa in Yoyogi, Tokyo. Meeting with him is Yumiko Ichikawa, who handles customer service as well as advertising and promotions.
Oh, so this is how it shows up. Interesting.
On a map, graphs indicating the number of people. This has been designed so that even those unfamiliar with statistics can understand the data at a glance. A map of Ikebukuro, Tokyo. The movement of people is indicated by squares.
It's extremely detailed.
You can pinpoint GPS data for commercial areas.
This is location data, the longitude, latitude, and time. Highly detailed, it shows what route a person took to get to what destination and at what time. With the map and graphs, it's possible to read the flow of people.
The graphs for the downtown area are actually higher.
Wow.
We believe a higher relevancy and cost-effectiveness can be achieved in terms of the location and medium of advertising. It's possible to tailor marketing campaigns based on the characteristics of consumers in the area of a shop. I'm going to visit a company now that collects location data.
That company is Agoop, a subsidiary of SoftBank Group which collects and provides location data.
Through an application for iPhones and Android phones that allow users to search for location information.
An application that displays nearby shops, Wi-Fi spots, and convenience stores. In exchange, users provide their location data to telecom operators. We decided to try it out. The application is installed. Then, it asks the user to agree to the company's use of location and search data and history.
This is an application that retrieves information only after the user agrees.
Once launched, the application shows the nearest ramen noodle shops. Users can choose based on the reviews of others. Data is sent to the company even when the application isn't being used.
I'm sorry. We actually can't identify personal information, a specific individual, or a specific device.
The longitude and latitude of a user are transmitted, but the company cannot acquire information specific to a user, such as names and phone numbers. But isn't there a danger of a person's identity being revealed in sparsely populated residential areas? Specific locations are displayed for commercial areas, but in residential zones, that information is blurred. This method is called meshing.
In certain cases, location data can be considered personal data. In locations where it's possible to pinpoint a person's home, that information is boxed in what we call a mesh. We believe it's important to do as much as possible to ensure that personal data is completely hidden.
Rival telecom operator NTT Docomo also began selling location data in October.
Customers can know instantly how many people are in what area on an hourly basis.
Docomo can even provide information on the number of people in a given location. Personal data is kept strictly confidential.
The more specific the data, the more it will satisfy the needs of users. But it will also make users feel more uneasy. So, we are trying to strike a balance as we figure out how much of the information should be meshed.
The demographic analysis service costs upwards of several tens of thousands of dollars. The company says it wants to market the information to distributors, such as convenience stores. Meanwhile, at KDDI, location data is being used to support earthquake-devastated regions. We visited an official with the Tourism Bureau of Iwate Prefecture. This is a report analyzing the movement of tourists. The Bureau is working with the developer of a social game called Kolopula.
If you look at the major tourist spot of Iwate Prefecture, Hiraizumi, you'll notice that the number of people who stay the night in the prefecture is below 50%.
Travel routes and accommodations are shown, revealing a major issue for the prefecture. The information is acquired with the consent of users and processed so that specific users can't be identified.
Looking at it, we felt the need to get tourists to travel in areas north of Hiraizumi.
The advantage of this survey is that it's possible to find out where a tourist came from, their sex and age group.
Since we can find out characteristics, such as sex and age, we can better tailor the content, depending on who clients want to specifically target.
KDDI provides tourist analysis reports free of charge to the 3 hardest-hit prefectures of Iwate, Miyagi, and Fukushima.
Data like this can be used in areas such as the reconstruction and revitalization of local economies. We chose tourism as our first theme to get people to better understand the service.
The company says once there's greater public acceptance, they will expand the service to convenience stores and other industries. Striking a balance between the use of location data and protection of personal privacy. That will remain a major sticking point.
So this is an issue that certainly needs to be discussed carefully.
I couldn't agree more. And as consumers, we also need to better understand what data is actually used and how.
After the break, we take a trip to the ancient capital, Kyoto.
Together, let's generate happiness. Let's raise the world to new heights. Let's carry our dreams further. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba. Together, let's create better healthcare. Let's develop a sustainable environment. Let's give children a promising tomorrow. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba.
The view is almost like peering down on the star-filled night sky at your feet. It's the city at night seen from a height of 450 meters. Make unforgettable memories. City lights stretching for as far as the eye can see. Find it at Tokyo Skytree.
Hey, look at this! They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we bring you an episode from Industrial Heritage.
So today we put the spotlight on the ancient capital of Kyoto. And Arai-san, what kind of impression do you have of Kyoto?
Well, I love Kyoto. There are lots of temples. They have Japanese traditional food. And I feel like it's a place where I can learn about Japanese history that you didn't learn in school. And I know it's a popular destination among visitors from abroad too.
Yes, it certainly is. Now, Kyoto is steeped in traditional culture, but as we've talked about in previous programs, it's also home to some of Japan's top high-tech companies, such as Nidec, Kyocera, and Munata Manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. So is there a connection between traditional culture and advanced technologies?
Well, actually there is, and we have a report exploring the spirit of craftsmanship in Kyoto and efforts to leverage traditional techniques honed over the centuries to create unique new products. So take a look.
Kyoto, a city of countless historical assets steeped in traditional culture. It has also flourished as the cradle of numerous unique companies on the cutting edge of manufacturing. Kyoto's over 1,000-year history as the spiritual and physical capital of Japan gave rise to technologically advanced industries in areas such as ceramics and silk making. Such time-honored traditions evolved into cutting-edge techniques in the march toward modernization. In 1877, a certain event took place that was celebrated by the people of Kyoto. The first experimental flight of a blimp in Japan. That milestone was achieved by none other than the founder of Shimazu Corporation, Genzo Shimazu. Manufacturing industrial use analytical and measuring instruments and medical devices for 130 years, the company is now spread out across the world. Its historical legacy still remains in Kiyamachi, Kyoto.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's very nice to meet you.
Glad to meet you too.
This seems to be a very historical building.
This was built at the time of the company's establishment. The founder's ideal was to change society with the power of science. He set up a company here to make tools for school science experiments.
So this is where they were made?
Yes, this old building was left intact.
This crest of a cross within a circle is actually shared by both the Satsuma clan and the Shimazu family. Genzo Shimazu's ancestor was actually in the employ of the feudal lord of the Shimazu region and was granted the crest as a sign of appreciation. We were shown educational use laboratory tools that Genzo was making at the time of the company's founding. This is to study balance.
This is a can. I'll put this on the higher end first.
When the can is placed, it starts rolling to the lower end. But when a spin top-like device is placed on the lower end, it appears to roll upwards.
What? Why?
Strange, isn't it?
The secret is in the spin top and the base, specifically the shapes of both. As the base widens, the spin top rolls in a sinking motion. In this way, it appears to move toward the higher end. It was from these laboratory tools that Genzo's ideal was born of changing Japan with science. But Genzo Shimazu was originally a craftsman of Kyoto Buddhist altar fittings. So what drove him to this newfound pursuit? In 1870, a research facility called Seimi Kyoku was founded here in Kiyomachi to study Western technologies. Seimi was the transliteration of the Dutch word for science. The facility began taking Western laboratory equipment and measuring devices to Genzo for repairs. Genzo was highly regarded as a craftsman of Buddhist altar fittings, but found himself simply amazed at the technological level of the West. He began to feel that Japan needed its own science and technology and buried himself in research. One of his first experiments was the test flight of a blimp. His only reference was a picture he saw in a foreign magazine. After repeated trial and error, he arrived at a method of filling a sake cask with steel scrap and sulfuric acid to generate hydrogen. The blimp, which was made out of silk coated with resins, succeeded in floating to a height of 36 meters. 50,000 people came to watch. Through this, Genzo also hoped to demonstrate the power of science. This is a catalog of scientific instruments published by the company in its early days. At the back are words written by Genzo reflecting his pioneering spirit. We will make anything according to your wishes. Genzo Shimazu, the second-generation leader of Shimazu Corporation, inherited his father's pioneering spirit. His natural talent blossomed at an early age. It was a time when electric devices were taking the world by storm, following the invention of the light bulb and the telephone. At the age of 15, Genzo developed an electrostatic generator, which came to be called Shimazu Electricity. The device worked by rotating two discs to store static electricity and generate electricity. He built it based on an illustration in a physics book from France and under the tutelage of his father and the Seimi Kyoku. And in 1897, he developed the GS battery. GS stood for Genzo Shimazu. The battery was used to power wireless equipment during the Russo-Japanese War. Soldiers were able to relay enemy ship sightings, which greatly contributed to Japan's naval victory.
So his sense of curiosity led to this device.
The younger Genzo believed his role was not only to understand how things worked with his head, but also to build things that would benefit people and society.
That spirit of craftsmanship burns within the company. In 2002, Koichi Tanaka of Shimazu Corporation was awarded the Nobel Prize. For a company man rather than an academic to receive such an honor was considered a major achievement. That pioneering spirit, the ideal of changing society with science, passed down from the founder to his son, is alive and well. Higashiyama, Kyoto, the Senyuji district. This place has been called the birthplace of Kiyomizu ware and is home to many small kilns. Kiyomizu ware, which is said to have a 400-year history, has also developed in step with the culture of this ancient capital. Born and bred in Senyuji is Akira Murata, the founder of Murata Manufacturing, who crossed from the world of ceramics to the world of electronic components. We visited a museum run by one of his descendants.
Hello, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Is this your museum?
Yes, that's right.
Masayuki Murata opened this art museum after retiring from Murata Manufacturing. Numerous artworks and crafts created using intricate techniques are displayed here. He says they share a common characteristic with electronic components.
This is a field that Japan is very good at. The attention to detail. You can see it in the works from the late 1800s. That spirit flows through our veins and has led to the strength of Japan's electronics industry.
We're shown an item that he says symbolizes the origin of Murata Manufacturing.
This is a light bulb socket that my grandfather was making around the mid-1930s.
During the Second World War, when the entire country was mobilized for the military effort, the company began working on the development of an electronic component called titanium condensers. It could be said that Murata Manufacturing's origin is the ceramic-made light bulb socket. This ceramic has the characteristic of blocking electricity, in other words, non-conductive. But they learned that if metallic materials are used in the process of baking the ceramic, it will gain conductive properties, such as temporarily storing electricity or causing oscillation.
Because ceramic has many different electrical properties, my father used to call ceramic a wonderstone.
Titanium condensers can store electrical energy exceptionally well and were used in components for devices such as radars. They are made by attaching silver electrodes to ceramics composed primarily of titanium oxide. Attaching the silver presented no problems because of their ceramic painting techniques, but baking the crucial ceramic itself resulted in a series of failures. After repeatedly adjusting the ingredients and baking process, they finally completed the product. This titanium condenser could be considered the prototype of the company's core product today, the ceramic condenser. The founder's Wonderstone continues to evolve.
These are the ceramic condensers that we currently make. They're found in all types of electronic devices, such as mobile phones and computers.
Inside this wine glass are 100,000 ceramic condensers. Murata Manufacturing has become the world's top company in these types of products.
As Kyoto's 1,000-year history as the Japanese capital came to a close, there was a sense of crisis. But residents threw themselves into modernizing local industries, and the city underwent a revival. That has given rise to a Kyoto on the cutting edge of the global manufacturing industry.
I really felt the passion of craftsmen in Kyoto to continually adopt new things.
That's an attraction of Kyoto.
Definitely. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
ยังจำได้หรือเปล่านะเรื่องต่างๆที่เกิดขึ้นตอนวาดรูปนี้แต่ถ้ารถยนต์ในฝันของฉันมีจริงฉันคงจะมีความสุขมากเลย
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do this? We make things like this possible through the power of chemistry. We're the Kaiteki Company, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
SG Holdings began as a delivery company in Kyoto in 1957. We have grown to provide a wide variety of key business services, including logistical support, all across Japan. Reliability and achievement have defined and distinguished us on the Japanese business scene. With heartfelt bonds that connect us to each and every one of our customers. The passage of time has seen our sphere of operations expand from Japan into Asia and across the globe. We will continue to strive to link up people while supporting businesses worldwide. We will also create new value that contributes to a brighter and more expansive future. We make it our mission to connect people and companies around the world. SG Holdings.
Channel Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world. Get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. Business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.